Welcome back to Golf Extra. In the LIV PGA conflict, there's been one active player who has been at the center of much of the drama. Phil Mickelson was an early defector to LIV Golf, and through several of his comments, he's made a lot of headlines. However, his most recent comments on Twitter might be his most eye-raising of them all. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this one. Now, let's get right into Phil Mickelson's recent Twitter comments. Throughout the entire LIV PGA saga, Phil Mickelson was constantly making headlines. He was the first player to make the jump to the Saudi organization back in early 2022, and right off the bat, he made big news by making some salacious comments to journalist and author Alan Shipnuck, saying, "They're scary people to get involved with. We know they killed Washington Post reporter and U.S. resident Jamal Khashoggi and have a horrible record on human rights. They execute people over there for being gay. Knowing all of this, why would I even consider it? Because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to reshape how the PGA Tour operates." If you follow golf at all, you've probably heard the first sentence of that statement, but what followed has turned out to be extremely relevant to the LIV PGA merger. Mickelson continued talking about the PGA Tour in that same comment, saying, "They've been able to get by with manipulative, coercive, strong-arm tactics because we, the players, had no recourse. As a nice guy as PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan comes across as, unless you have leverage, he won't do what's right. And the Saudi money has finally given us that leverage. I'm not sure I even want it to succeed, but just the idea of it allowing us to get things done with the PGA Tour." Right off the bat, it seemed like Mickelson wasn't that invested in LIV Golf. But his gamble paid off, as what he hoped would happen did eventually occur, as LIV did force a merger with the PGA Tour based on their leverage. Given that he got what he wanted, you might think that Mickelson would tone down the rhetoric. But that's not the case. Instead, Mickelson has gone on some recent Twitter tirades that have put his name and fiery personality right back in the headlines. His first conflict came with Golf Channel personality Brandel Chamblee, who has also had issues with other LIV golfers like Patrick Reed and Brooks Koepka. Mickelson was prompted to get involved after Claude Harmon III, son of legendary golf coach Butch Harmon and a teacher himself, made a series of extensive comments about Koepka, who is Harmon's student. Chamblee had previously made some strong comments against Koepka and LIV, which looks to have ruffled some feathers. In part, Harmon's comments included, "Brandel is a paid actor by NBC and the Golf Channel. All he's trying to do is get his lines and shows for the Golf Channel. He's just trying to get lines for Brandel, and I mean, I love him. I think Eamon Lynch is a fantastic writer, but for Eamon Lynch and Brandel Chamblee, who worked for the NBC Golf Channel, to utter the words sports washing when the company they work for televised the last two Winter Olympics in Russia and China with the same leaders that they've had. It's not like they were good leaders back then. It's not like Putin was a good guy, right?" Those are strong comments from Harmon, but they were quickly backed up by Mickelson on Twitter. CH3, Claude Harmon III, is awesome. He holds nothing back, just like his father. Chamblee quickly shot back to the press regarding those comments, posting his own social media statement saying, "While Brooks Koepka's win at the PGA Championship was impressive, it should not distract us from the simple fact that LIV players are being used for the benefit of some very bad people and to the detriment of a great many more good people. That LIV Golf, with its inability to develop stars and seeking to buy them like high-performance cars, is undermining the dignity intrinsic in golf." Mickelson immediately hit back, even though the comment wasn't directed at him, tweeting, "Poor Brandel. He can rip apart me and countless others, but as soon as someone shows his ignorance, he can't handle it. He's softer now than he was as a player." Chamblee tried to take the high road, kind of, in his response, tweeting, "Phil is welcome to come to On the Live From set at the U.S. Open to discuss the merits of playing for scary MFers, as he called them, and the Billy Walters book that comes out August 22nd. But my guess is he's too soft to come on and debate." After this, though, the stakes got higher. Mickelson wanted to make the debate a real thing, tweeting, "I'd love to do it on another network. I don't want to help Golf Channel in any way or help him. He hasn't faced anyone who has nothing to lose and is sick of his endless attacks. He doesn't deal well with rebuttals or unrehearsed debates or tweets." Chamblee tweeted his own statement in response, obviously taking the bait, tweeting, "I offered 2 dates for Phil and he turned both down, the second of which was with neutral host who Phil would call friends. The date Phil proposed, and likely he doesn't know, is the week of the U.S. Women's Open, which I look forward to covering and will be a little busy. As for me blocking Phil, he only unblocked me just recently to pretend he was magnanimous, which given his comments about Rory is far from evident. Phil tweeted one final time, calling Chambly out for what he deemed to be a lie, tweeting, "What is this blasphemy? We have not communicated at all. Either he is making this up, most likely scenario knowing him, or he's talking with someone impersonating me." Phil is certainly living up to his billing as a huge personality with his comments, and we can't be alone in wanting to see him and Chambly go head-to-head at some point in the near future. That's not all that Mickelson had to say on Twitter recently, though. He also called out Rory McIlroy, who has himself been an outspoken advocate for the PGA Tour. At the Memorial Tournament, Rory made several comments alluding to the fact that PGA Tour players could stand to have a little bit more downtime during the season or off-season, saying, "We've all been advocating for an off-season, and there's certain reasons why guys want a longer off-season. It's very hard to try to play your best golf when you're really thinking about your golf swing. So that off-season time would be nice to work on your mechanics and your fundamentals so that you've got those sort of bedded in so that you can sort of roll going into the bulk of the season." There is some obvious irony in these comments, considering that increased off-season time is part of the sales pitch for LIV and their business model. Mickelson immediately picked up on this, tweeting, "As worn out as McIlroy was after the Masters and his need for an off-season, LIV would be perfect for him. Problem is, I don't think there's a team that wants him on it because they'd have to deal with all his BS. Like we said, there's no love lost between these two groups, and Phil is not afraid to air that in the open." Phil also made his points more explicitly clear, following up on his original tweet by saying, "Love LIV or hate it, it's the best way tour to be your best in the majors. Enough events to keep you sharp, fresh, and ready, yet not be worn down from too many tournaments or obligations. 14 LIV events, 34 weeks left open to prepare for the 4 majors. Fact. Especially given LIV golfer Brooks Koepka's recent success in the PGA Championship, this seems like it has some basis in fact. However, McIlroy has had some great performances of his own recently, finished in the top 10 at the PGA Championship, the Memorial, the RBC Canadian Open, and the US Open. So, it definitely appears that Mickelson is ready to make his thoughts known at any moment, and he's been shown to be right a couple of times as well. It remains to be seen who his next target will be, but whoever it is, he's sure to make some headlines. So, what do you think about Phil Mickelson's Twitter tirades? Do you think that he's justified or that he's being a bit over the top? Be sure to leave us a comment with what you think down below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you can watch our latest content updates as soon as they drop. We'll catch you in the next one. Have a great day.